Hey guys, welcome back to the Whimsical Workshop. In this video, I'm going to show you how to figure out the measurements and pieces you need to cut for a tote bag or carry-all tote. Yay! Today I want to share with you, I need to make and design this for a client. And I'm going to show you how I go from this to the fabric to know what pieces to cut. And I think this is a really handy skill to have in case you want to make your own tote bag, your own carry-all tote, and you don't have a pattern. So this is how we're going to start. There's two different ways to do it. I'm going to show you the easiest way first, and then I'm going to show you the way we need to do it and why for the second one. So the first thing is, what are the overall dimensions of your bag? So in this case, the bag is going to be 10 inches long by 6 inches high by 4 inches wide. That is the finished size I want to get to. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is, are there any outer pockets that go into the seam? And this is going to be important when we decide which version we're going to do. So the first way to do this is, and I'm going to use these markers, so hopefully it's a little bit broader for you, is I draw the front of my bag. So there's the pretty front of the bag. This is 10 inches and this is 6 inches. That's finished. We're talking finished size right now. So the width of the bag is 4 inches. We can do this whole bag with 2 pieces of fabric for the simple version by dividing that in half. So you would put 2 inches on this side, 2 inches on this side, and 2 inches along the bottom. So if this is 2 and this is 2, that's 6 and that's 2. So if you wanted to make a dimensional bag from 2 pieces of fabric, you need, that's this size, you need to start with a 14-inch by 8-inch. And then we have to add our seam allowance, which is a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch. Helps if my pen writes. And then that's 14.5 by 8.5 would be this overall piece. So then what you would do is you sew these 2 pieces together along the side and the bottom, and you'd end up with a piece like this, big pocket. And then what you do is you do a box seam, and I have videos showing you how to do a box seam. I will put one down below. But you basically cut out this corner, the measurement of your width. So that's a 2-inch square and a 2-inch square. And then you would take, this is the side, you would take this line and this line and bring them together. This is the front of your bag, and you sew the box seam. So then you end up with this being 4 inches with a seam down the side, 4 inches with a seam down the side. The bottom would look like this with the seam down the side. That's 4 inches, and there's our 10 and our 6. So that's a really simplistic way to make tote bags. I'm going really quick on this because this is not the way we need to do our tote bag or our carry-all. We have included this front pocket, which is hard to see on the drawing, but it is there, and it gets caught in the seam. It gets caught on each side, and then there's another one on the other side. That means we need to do this the more challenging way. And that is, we have again our bag measurements, which are 10-inch wide by 6-inch high by 4-inch wide. And we need our pocket, which runs the width of the bag. It's 10 inches wide, but it only goes up to here, which is 4 inches high. That's our pocket. Okay, so to do this, we now need to cut pieces for all the sides and sew them together. So we need to cut a front piece. Finish is 10 by 6. We have to cut a side piece on each side, and this is now going to be 4 by 6, 4 by 6, 4 by 6, and then we need to cut a bottom piece, which is 10 inches wide by 4 inches high, and now we need to cut our pocket pieces, which is 10 by 4. So those are the finished sizes. So you have to make sure you add a 1/2 inch to each of these measurements to get your cut sizes. Okay, so this is pocket. We need 2 pockets and we need 2 linings. I like to line my pockets. So I need to cut 2 4.5 by 10.5 outer fabric and 2 4.5 by 10.5 lining pieces. Then over here for the bottom, I again need to cut 1 and 1, 1 4.5 by 10.5 outer, and 1 4, cannot write today, 10.5 lining. So that's for those. And then up here, this is the bag front and back. So we need to cut 2 6.5 by 10.5 outer and 2 6.5 by 10.5 lining. And same here, we need to cut, there's 2 sides, these are sides, see they're the same, I just drew them on each side so you can see that. You need to cut 2 4.5 by 6.5 outer and 2 4.5 6.5 lining. So that is how you would take a dimensional bag. Say you have a bag and you want to make it and you want to know how to figure it out. These are the 2 ways you can do it. This way you would have to do this because this pocket piece is going to get put on here and then we have to sew the sides on. Or you can do this way if you don't have pockets. This is the quick and dirty and easiest way to do it. To assemble the bag, this video is all about figuring this out. I'm not actually going to assemble the bag. That's a video for our client. Is when you go to sew this on, sew this together, let's walk through this. You would assemble your pocket and you put the lining piece there and you'd sew the 2 pieces together and then fold it over so you have a pocket that is sewn up here with a nice fold. This is all raw edge, which you would then place on your bag front and base stitch the pocket to the front. And you would repeat with the one on the back. Now your pockets are on, and as you assemble the bag, everything will, these will get caught in the seam and you don't have to worry about them anymore. So when you go to assemble this bag, let's go to one more sheet. This is like a whiteboard video for quilters. When you go to assemble the bag, you'd have your bottom, and you'd have, this is the outer bag. This would be the bag front, the bag back, the side, and the side. So you're going to sew these all to the base of the bag. These are all your outer pieces. When you sew it, you want to make sure, I'm trying to figure out my marker. You want to make sure when you do this that you stop 1/4 inch from the corner. Okay, so you would just be like this. Then once they're all together, you're able to, let me see if I can draw this in dimension, in perspective for you. You would have, this is your bag, there's this, and you'd have this piece out here. This comes up and you just start here and you sew each corner. Same over here. And that will give you this. And the pockets would be on the either side. You would repeat it for lining. And this time you would leave, leave an opening or turning in the lining. Just like along the bottom somewhere where it won't show when you look at the bag. So once you have your outer bag and your lining together, you slide them together, you sew around the top, and you pop it open. This isn't talking about handles. You can do the handles and pin them to the outer bag first, and then when you slide the lining on top over it, the handles go between it, and then you sew around the top edge, pull it out through the opening. Tote bags are really, really easy. This is really, if you've already made a few tote bags, hopefully you understand what all these sketches are. But I wanted to share with you the 2 different ways to figure out the yardage that you need for a tote bag. So this is a little bit different for me in a video. It's quick, it's easy, and there's no sewing involved. But I wanted to kind of break down how I take a dimensional drawing like this and turn it into some cutting pieces so that I can actually make the bag. If you want to see the finished bag done and the video on how to do it, make sure you follow me on social media. When the client posts it on their YouTube channel, I will be sure to give them a shout out so you can go over there and check it out. And leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. Is this something you like to see, just the design process and how I go? If you do, let me know, and if you don't, let me know. I'd like to shoot the stuff that you guys want to watch. So again, I thank you for watching, and have a good day.